Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Rob Taylor, and we are in the midst of our bracket breakdown. We'll start with the East region, Rob, and we look at that. It's obviously the number 1 seed Duke, number 2 seed Michigan State. Those are the two favorites, obviously, to get to the finals of that bracket. Is there a team ranked 5 through 8, or anyone down there lower in the second half of the bracket or second quadrant who might be able to make a deep run and maybe surprise some people in this bracket?
Oh yeah, there's definitely somebody in there, and it's just a question of trying to narrow it down.
Right, who it is.
This is really what makes the NCAA tournament so compelling. It really is the best tournament in the world. Makes it something you want to watch, even if you don't follow college basketball throughout the other parts of the year, right, through the winter and the doldrums of January and February. But when it gets to March, it really is a much more fun process to watch. And so my little sleeper is Louisville, ranked number 7, to come out and make a deep run into the tournament. Obviously, they've got some deep talent, well coached. So that's just a hunch.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's tough. We can sit here and say, well, this team or that team, and we know one team's going to do it, but like you said, it's picking that team. My team is number 6 seeded Maryland. They do have a tough matchup, obviously, the play-in game, but then if they do win, they face that LSU-Yale winner. So I think Maryland, coming out of the Big Ten, a good conference. They were even ranked maybe as a 4 or 5 seed. They've just dropped down recently. So that 6 seed Maryland, they might be able to make a run. But then, of course, they would be on the Michigan State side of the bracket. So it's going to be really tough. Who do you ultimately see coming out of this East region?
Back to what we were talking about earlier, I just think it's really Duke's tournament to lose. They got to stay healthy. Obviously, they're sort of like the Patriots of the NCAA basketball. And so a lot of teams are going to be gunning for them, and they're going to be working on some serious plans to try to disrupt their play and to try to take Zion out of the game. But I just don't think anybody's really got an answer for him. If he's healthy, we know they're well coached, and
right,
they have just a deep roster in terms of talent. Again, I think it's Duke's to win, and you know, the only team that'll probably give them a little bit of a scare might be in the Elite Eight with Michigan State. This is my prediction.
Yeah, I agree with you. That Duke-Michigan State, that would be a great matchup in that Elite Eight, the final matchup in that bracket. And I agree with you. Duke gets the win there, and you can pencil them as the winners of the East. We move down the bracket to the Western bracket, and we have Gonzaga there as the number 1 seed and Michigan as the number 2 seed. Gonzaga, everyone always talks about them every year. Do they deserve a number 1 seed? Where should they be ranked? They did lose in their conference championship against St. Mary's. Do we trust them this year, or is it another flame out early?
You know, I'm actually I'm thinking they're going to make a deep run, and I think they'll probably make it to the Final Four. Yeah, it's one of those colleges. Who talks about Gonzaga other than during the
right,
NCAA bracket? But they've sort of proven themselves to be a powerhouse West Coast team that is just, you know, they've had a great season, 30-3, some real quality wins against some, you know, elite programs. I think they make that deep run. They make it to the Final Four this year, and they're going to lose to Duke. That's my prediction.
Okay, there you go. So you got the prediction there. I agree with you. I think Gonzaga, you know, every year we do look at that schedule. We look at the conference. We look at their players, and we wonder if they're for real. Obviously, they were getting to the finals a few years back. This year, I agree with you. They might have a matchup against Florida State in the second weekend, the Sweet 16. Obviously, it could be a tough matchup against Texas Tech or Michigan on the bottom side of that bracket. But ultimately, I agree with you. I think Gonzaga gets out of that bracket, and they face off against Duke. I mean, I know it's kind of boring to pick the chalk and pick the 2 number 1 seeds from that half of the bracket, but at this point, these two teams are, I think, far and away the best 2 teams.
They're loaded, absolutely.
Yeah, so Duke and Gonzaga, we have them coming out of the East and West, respectively. We'll take a break. We'll talk about the South region. Virginia's the number 1 seed there, and obviously then in the Midwest, where's UNC and Kentucky. That's going to be an exciting bracket. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.